one of the tutors at Athena, and I'm going to basically kind of be continuing this video series. I made some videos for the BRM group assignment, but I'm also going to make some for your writing assignments. So this is going to be the video for the moral limits of market writing assignment, and this is going to be a brief introduction on how to approach and start outlining your writing assignment. But later this week, I think over the weekend, I'm going to be posting a little bit more in-depth video on how to approach the introduction section of your writing assignment and coming up with your research question. So that's going to be for a little bit later this week. But for now, I'm just going to introduce you guys to how to approach this entire assignment, because I know it's pretty big and pretty vague right now, but don't worry, it's going to get a little bit clearer for you later. So first thing you need to do is, of course, look at the writing assignment, see what they're asking you to solve, or see what they're asking you to address in your writing assignment. So in terms of moral limits, they're asking you about EU passports and how they're being sold to those people who are wanting to buy a EU passport. And the good thing about EU passports, of course, is once you have access to citizenship in a country that is within the European Union, you basically have access to a lot of other countries that are also in the European Union. So some people don't like that, because basically once you get a passport to somewhere, you get a passport and access to everywhere. That includes like health insurance, paying like residency. It's just much easier within the EU. So that's basically what's kind of being an issue and the controversy in your assignment, is that these passports, some people want, of course, the demand for these passports is high, but the question that you want to address is, to what extent is having these passports as a commodity morally legitimate? So I know it sounds pretty fancy, but basically all it's just asking you is to what extent is it morally okay to have EU passports as a commodity? So to what extent is it ethical for there to be a market, basically, for EU passports, where you can buy an EU passport? And so that's basically what it's asking you to do. So your essay should be split into three main parts. So your theoretical background, analysis, and conclusion. But of course, you need an introduction section as well. So I would also add that in here, even though this is taken directly from the course outline, but have an introduction. So you have an introduction, a theoretical background, an analysis, and a conclusion. So starting with the introduction, I would recommend it to be about 1 page in length, because it's just supposed to give a brief background into what is going on, why is it a problem, why you need to address it, and then that basically flows into your research question. And then from there, you have your theoretical background. So this one I would recommend being about 1,000 words, give or take, because you want to spend a good amount of your text giving some good background into the issues. So picking the relevant topics that you're needing to address for your research question. So depending on what angle you've chosen, you can talk about the principles of the free market, supply and demand, international trade, EU passports can be bought, taboos, market influences morals, markets come with different responsibilities on all levels. These can all be used to address your research question. And your research question should be kind of a more specific version of this broader question, because in this case, to what extent as a commodity morally legitimate, there's a lot of ways you could answer this question. So I would recommend, when you're making your research question, to make it a bit more specific in terms of one of the parts of this text. So you can basically like make it into whatever you want, as long as you make sure that you answer and fill out and you fulfill all of these requirements for each of the parts. But you can basically make the research question a little bit more of your own style and what you want to address with the underneath the main idea of this research question, because this one's pretty broad. So I'd recommend making more specific research questions. So then after your theoretical framework, then you have your analysis, which is a big chunk of text. This is the most important part, I believe, of your writing assignment, because this is where you're actually going to be presenting your arguments for basically your research question. So which reasons more legitimate? So basically you're asking like why EU passports as a commodity is or is not morally legitimate. Why has it been suggested? Which arguments support, which arguments refute. You want to find arguments for both. Any essay would have to have a counter argument because that shows that you took the time to find counter arguments and then refute those counter arguments to, again, support your research question. So conclusions and questions, then that's just basically your last part, which is where you tie everything up and you suggest ideas for more research. So this should be about 300 to 500 words, pretty short. You shouldn't spend that much words on your conclusion. Like I said, the bulk should be in your analysis and your theoretical background. That's where the most evidence is going to be coming into play, and that's where your main part of answering or analyzing your research question comes into account. Again, you're not expected to find an extremely concrete conclusion on this. That's why it's saying to what extent, because basically you're just going to be finding evidence for whatever research question you have, but you're not expected to fully solve it or come up with a, 5-step solution or anything like that. You're just supposed to find relevant literature, argue your point, find a counter argument, and then refute that, conclude it all, and stick to the in the text underneath each bulk part, because you need to make sure that you answer these questions that they're asking, because that's what they're going to be using to grade your assignment. And another thing about grading your assignment is that your tutor is going to do it. So in terms of what your tutor likes, what your tutor wants to see, listen to them, listen to what they prefer in your writing assignment, because they're going to be the ones grading your writing assignment. So that's a really big thing. Listen to your tutor. Don't be afraid to ask your tutor questions about the writing assignment, about your research question, anything like that. Like even email them, honestly, like I did that too. I emailed my tutor a lot asking questions because I wanted to make sure that, first of all, my research question and like what path or what direction I was choosing to go was a right one, or would be, considered acceptable in terms of this writing assignment, broad question. And then from there, you can basically just ask them what they want to see. How do they want your referencing? How do they, just ask them anything that you would like, because they're going to be the ones grading your assignment. So it's important to basically tailor your assignment to their preferences, because they're going to be grading it. So if you want a good grade, you want to make sure that the tutor likes what you write as well. And so that's basically the main ideas and the main approaches to your writing assignment. Make these bulk parts, or already make an outline, put these bulk parts, and then within those larger chunks, break it down, choose which ideas you find relevant for your research question, break it down in terms of like the separate parts, find literature that can help you do that. I would recommend taking a look at my BRM group research assignment literature review section video, because that goes into a little bit more depth on how to look for relevant articles for your research question and put them in a document where you can organize them and reference back to them whenever you're writing your assignment. So those are just some big tips that I have for you guys to help you get started for your writing assignment. Like I said, later on and throughout this course, basically, I'm going to be making some more videos on things that you guys might be confused about in terms of the assignment, how to edit it, how to structure, what to address, things like that. But I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.